Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavide Uskava, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton. Luncha!
Good evening, Whiskey Brothers, Whiskey Sisters, Whiskey Friends, and welcome to episode 28 of the Canadian Whisky Journey Whiskey Review. I'm Dolph. I'll be your host tonight. I'm joined by Blair Phillips, co-author to The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries. And it's coming up on Christmas time, and Davin and Blair are doing some, if you're around the Toronto area or Ottawa area, you'll have a chance to buy these and get them signed by both of them. And that's a good thing to do. It's a good present when it's signed. Blair, tell us, what are we drinking tonight?
This would be another outstanding present if you can swing it and find a bottle. This is the Moonshine Creek Distilleries Downriver whiskey.
And a beautiful bottle. Anything you can tell us about the distillery right offhand before I go into my little story?
Yeah, they started off kind of, as the name suggests, they were a moonshine distillery. That was one of the first spirits that come out. They make this stuff here, White Pup. It's outstanding. Like, it's, when you taste this whiskey, there's a roundness to it. And their moonshine, even though it's made with a different mash bill for this one, it has a lot of those same qualities. The texture, it's round and smooth. It's not your traditional like corncob pipe, I want to marry my cousin moonshine. It's more of a refined moonshine. Right. And if you ever see pictures of the Clark brothers at Moonshine Creek, there we go. Yeah, their grandfather Marlon Henderson was he ran some booze across the border to Maine back in the day, and he would always wear a tie. And that's what I picture in the picture that they have on their website. He wears a tie. And that's what I picture with this moonshine is that it's the kind of moonshine you wear a tie to when you drink it.
Nice. Okay. But it's an upper class moonshine, and that's what we are.
Exactly.
All right. It's cool. I've got some information online. Same thing. The brothers, which I already showed you the picture of. I'm going to show you a picture of the distillery itself. And I was asking Blair beforehand if this was kind of the lineup for the very first whiskey, because batch number 1, which we're trying tonight, sold out right away. Do you remember how fast it sold out?
Man, it was up for maybe a day, 2 days at the most.
Really?
And it was gone. Yeah. 506 bottles, was it?
506 bottles gone in a couple days.
Yeah.
And it's a neat looking place on the outside, but I got to tell you, I like how it looks on the inside. This is really appealing to me. So I like that. I'd spend some time there if I could. And again, these two gentlemen, Joshua and Jeremiah Clark, inspired by Bootlegger Grandpa and this book. And the book's called When Rum Was King by B.J. Graham. And it's about the rich history of New Brunswick's role in smuggling alcohol during the Prohibition. So that's it. That's their inspiration. And you like it. You introduced me to this. You told me we had to have it. And can you show the label? Because just a bit of information. Again, that's the longest covered bridge in their hometown of Heartland, right there up top. And made with local barley, 80% rye, 20% barley from Carleton County, New Brunswick. Aged in charred and toasted virgin American oak. But when we nose this and we taste it, that oak is not really prevalent. It's not smacking in the face oak. It's with the virgin oak.
Yeah, just layered in nicely. You get a lot of bright, fresh new oak in this whiskey without overpowering it. So a lot of those sweet characteristics come through, and some really nice, some good spices as well.
Let's go with the nose and help me out with the sweetness, because I'm going back and forth from caramel to rockets. So the powdered sugar to caramel. I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm waffling a little bit. I'm not sure which one.
I get that as well. But I also get a lot of vanilla, and I find that banana really comes out in this whiskey. There's almost like a banana bread with some woody spices. especially up front. Like if it's been sitting out for a while, like mine has, that starts to dissipate. But when you open the bottle and pour a fresh glass,
Okay.
you get this just completely crazy banana note.
Okay. I poured this 35 minutes ago, and I'm not with the banana with you at this point, and I haven't tasted too much. I took a sip right off the bat, but maybe I should have, because that's a note I look for a little bit. I like it. I like the banana. And is it like marshmallow banana or actual banana?
It's like like an actual ripe banana, like really ripe.
Got it.
Yeah.
750 mils, 506 bottles, like we said, non-chill filtered, natural colored, but it's 47%. And Blair, you had something to say about the proofing.
Yeah, they have a cool technique for proofing down their whiskey for this release. They make maple spirits as well, and from what I understand, during reverse osmosis with the maple sap, pulls the water out, so it's like a tree water, and it's very pure. There's no flavor to it. There's no sweetness, and they've taken that byproduct, that tree water, to proof down this whiskey.
All right. Maybe that's where I'm getting the divergent sugary thing, because maybe the spirit itself is like candied sugar, and then caramel possibly. You say it doesn't taste like anything, but maybe.
I don't know. There's definitely a bit of caramel in it, yeah. There's a lot going on.
And maybe it's from that sap, or not the sap, the reverse osmosis sugar water from the tree.
But it's pretty tight. Good. Like this is a tight blend. It's so when you say that you're getting these different sweet notes, it makes sense because they've really done a bang up job blending those two casks together to get it fully integrated like that.
And you get a little bit of the heat from the 47%, but I like that. I like my cask strength. So 47's it's tame, but you've got a little bit of heat in the back, and I think the finishes off with the heat and the spice. So this goes sweet to spice for me for the finish.
Yeah, and I was starting to get like almost like a bitter walnut skin type note to it.
Okay.
And the other thing, look for like almost like a dry cocoa powder underneath the sweetness. Like it's.
Are you thinking tannic because of the virgin wood? Maybe, is that possible?
I don't know where that's coming from.
More info. This sold for $50, and I've got to say I really like that because, and we've talked about this before, a lot of the first batches of whiskeys at 3.5, 4 years old are going for 80, 100, and there's one distillery selling into the 250s. We're not going to mention them right now for the very first batch, for something coming out. So I really respect the $50, and I can see why 506 bottles, because I would have bought two right away, I think, right?
Yeah,
I tried online, but not a chance.
Yeah, you talk about regrets, like when I was a kid, I didn't invest my allowance in Apple stock.
Yep.
With this stuff, my regret is only buying the 2 bottles. I should have bought a case. I really like it. It's one of my favorites. Out of all the new whiskeys that have been coming out this year, this is top of my list.
Well, I'm liking it, and it's late February or March. They have batch number 2 coming out, so look
March
for that.
2022. Yeah,
and
so start camping out tomorrow.
Sitting outside and getting that big long line. We just have to get to know them a bit and have them set it aside. But you got 2, so you're lucky. And I think this is the year. I think we're going to have 2 this year, next year, the year after that, where we're getting a lot of the first batches of whiskeys, because I've been talking to a lot of distilleries and they're waiting. They're not all starting right at 3 years because they're selling. Well, they're selling their other product and it's keeping them afloat. So there's not the demand to put out the whiskey right away. They're waiting a little bit. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun over the next year or so with the batch 1 coming out. Batch 1.
Yeah. And this is a good indication of what's going to happen with batch 2 and batch 3. Jeremiah was telling me that they have a batch 3, I think it's going to come out this time next year. It's going to have some corn in the mash bill as well. So
Okay,
it'll be
it's got a nice mouthfeel. Why are they going with corn already? It's got
I
a nice
think.
mouthfeel.
Well, I just think they must have a couple different mash bills aging away.
Okay,
So they plan on having it out.
Good stuff. So anything else to add to the nose that you thought? We had the spice, we had the sugar. I had a little bit of umami. I was thinking it was garlicky at one point, but that's completely gone. That was there for probably about 5 minutes, but it could have been my supper upstairs. Anything?
Yeah, I
with
didn't
you?
get that.
Okay.
Some good woody spices and a good foundation.
Yeah.
And I find that whole entire flavor profile we just talked about, it rides out through the palate all the way through the finish. It's yeah.
No, very impressed. First batch. I don't know if it's 3 years old or not, or 3 or 4, but let's guess 3.
Actually I do know a little bit. The youngest whiskey in this is 3 years old. But I think one of the casks was slightly older than that.
Okay, good. I like that. Thumbs up for me. Thank you for suggesting it, kind sir. And that's it. I think there's anything else. Anything you want to add? I just wanted to say nice mouthfeel that I didn't really talk about too much. It's covering the glass really well as well. So the corn will be interesting to try next year. And if it's every 6 months at $50, piece of cake.
Exactly.
Every time.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Have a fantastic night, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sludge. Cheers.